Hi, I am Jessica Jackson. This is the Thriving in Motherhood podcast. And today we're going to talk about 10 principles for creating a fun and productive summer schedule with kids. Now, I recently had a mom email me and say, I would be really interested in learning how to create a summer rhythm, especially for us moms that have our kids in public school. Like we just had the experience of spring break, and I realized like summer might be a little bit challenging without a little bit more planning. So I'm going to share as a homeschooling mom what I do to create like systems and routines for my kids. But I also talked with Soaring Mothers Society group. We meet once a month at the end of the month to review the previous month and plan the next month and keep moving forward on our projects and goals. And I pulled them we had a good long conversation about summer and how they plan for it. These are moms that have all gone through the Made to Soar Next 90 Day programs. They're very intentional, and they're in public school. Lots of the kids are in public school. Some of the kids are homeschooled. Some of the moms work from the home. Some moms work outside of the home. Some moms are, in the full stay-at-home mom space with, young children. So we've got a really good variety of moms out there. And so after talking with them, I pulled these 10 principles, that I'm going to share with you today. So whether you're a homeschooling mom or a public school mom or a mom with young kids at home, no school yet, these will help you create a summer that you can be excited about. Okay, before we jump in today, I want to share with you a brand new workshop that I created for you called 3 Secrets to Do More of What You Love Without Hiring a Babysitter. I know that some of the concern in the summer is like, where's my time going to go? Especially if you've had kids in school and they're home now, or just with a different schedule, or, daycare options are different, preschool options are different. They're not there. Where do you find that time to do what you love? How does that work? And so this workshop is for you. You can find it at thrivinginmotherhoodpodcast.com/workshop. Okay, let's jump into these principles right off the bat because I want you to have a good summer. It is 1st of May, end of April when I'm recording this, actually May 1st. So we're on a good trajectory here to give you some time to think about this. So the very first kind of principle that we pulled out was that if we don't have some sort of plan, a rhythm, a schedule that everyone's familiar with, the default is probably screen time and fighting. And I'm not saying that screen time is bad, but when we use it as an escape from the rough circumstances, that's unfortunate, right? So let's think about some other things that we can do here to help curb some of that fighting and that tension, and also just the default screen time. So the second principle that I want to talk about here is the difference between a schedule and a rhythm. So a schedule is when you do things at certain times. So at 9 o'clock, or maybe we do 7 o'clock, we wake up. 7:30, everyone's dressed and ready to go. 8 o'clock, we're eating breakfast together. 8:30, everyone starts a chore. Okay, it's like very regimented. Whereas a rhythm is we're going to wake up and then we're going to get dressed for the day and then we're going to eat breakfast. And it doesn't matter whether you woke up at 7 or 7:30 or 8 o'clock or 9, everybody knows that there's this pattern and this flow to the day that's going to happen, that's going to be expected. And so I have found the most success personally with having a general idea of when I want things to happen because, there's a domino, right? And it's like you start your day at 9 a.m., bedtime is not going to be at 6 p.m., right? So I kind of start with what do I want my schedule to be like personally as an individual? And then how does that mesh with everybody else in the family, and use that as kind of a general time frame of when I want things to happen. But really we're focusing on building this rhythm, creating this predictable pattern, especially in the summer, right? It's like a little bit more relaxed and it's fun to have things be different or to not have to wake everybody up at a certain time if that's, a possibility. And just let kids stay up late reading and then sleep in a little bit, right? And so if you have this rhythm, then everybody is on the same page about what happens no matter when it happens. The third principle is that as we're talking about this rhythm, this predictable pattern, it's really helpful to alternate between times when you're together and times when you're apart. And this might be everyone together at a time or one-on-one time with each child, depending on, your family, your situation. But then also giving the time for kids to do things on their own. So for example, in our house, everyone kind of starts the morning off on their own, doing their own things. And then we come together for breakfast and we do some things at the table there for school. Then we all do some, kitchen jobs together, the kitchen reset, and maybe a little bit more things together in the morning. But then everyone's kind of separates. And I actually spend time one-on-one with each child. And then we separate even further, and everyone's kind of doing their own thing for a bit. And we come together and go on a walk and then go, have lunch together. And then we separate again for quiet time. And then we come back together for a snack in the afternoon and a project, or go, play with friends or go on an adventure. And then we separate and everyone kind of does their own thing. And then we come together. So you see, it's just kind of like a fluid together and apart, together and apart. And it's really helpful because it's good for the extroverts in the family, and it helps the introverts in the family. Everyone gets a chance to recharge the way that they need to. And it's really helpful. Like, this works even for little kids, like 2-year-olds. So don't feel like you have to wait till your kids a certain age. Like, if you just have little kids, start this pattern and help them build up time. My 2-year-old and 4-year-old, 2-year-old and 5-year-old can play together for hours now by themselves. By just kind of getting used to this idea of like, it's okay, we're going to be together and we're going to be apart. We're going to be together and we can be apart. So if it's just short periods of time together and apart, that's great. And then just build up from there this summer. The fourth principle is to ask, as you're starting this concept, this idea, is what's already going well in your family. So if you already have your kids at home all the time, look at what's working. If your kids are in public school, but what works well on the weekends, or what worked well during spring break, or what didn't work well, like, just pay attention to what's already working. Don't feel like you've got to start from scratch and have everybody learn an entirely new habit. Okay. I want you to picture, this is not you, like you as an individual on a little rowboat in the ocean might be able to pivot quickly. Okay. Probably a lake might be able to pivot quickly, but I want you to picture your family as like a ginormous steamliner. Okay. It's not going to be very agile. It's not going to make quick pivots. So I want you to expect that in the outgo. And that's why let's look at what's already working and keep like 98% of what's already working. Okay. And expect things to be kind of slow moving and shifting, and just look for those little shifts, those little things that can make it a little bit better this summer as you are kind of starting out with this family rhythm. And at the same time, I also want you to look at your pain points, okay? Like let's say spring break, for example. What were the hardest moments of your day? What did not go well? Be really curious about that. Don't feel bad about it. And make a note of that, because what you can do is work on solving that, okay? So that's what I do all the time, and I've been doing it for 10 years, right? Like, just getting aware of what's working, what's not working, and how can we make those parts that are not working a little bit better. Okay, principle number 5. What are some things that you don't have time for during the school year that you want to address this summer for you and the kids, right? So this might include house projects that you didn't get to, or things that you want to do with your kids, or subjects you want to cover with your kids, or some life skills you want to cover with your kids, or habits that you want them to learn and yourself to learn. Habits, skills, experiences. If I'm going to break into 3 things: habits, skills, experiences. What do you want to do this summer with your kids? And don't feel like you have to do everything, okay? Just like one thing. What's one thing in each of those areas that you think would be fun to do with your family? And number 6, this is essential question, because I think when we have summer going on, there are not maybe as many routines as during the school year. You may have more people in your home than you're used to, than you do during the school year, and for longer periods of time, which means your home is going to be lived in. And and if your summer is anything like mine, there's like, we're swimming, we're playing outside. There's much, dirt and mud. It's just messy. It's a messy time of year. And lots of things happen. And so think about now, like before it all starts happening, what is your standard of living that you are comfortable with? And this is going to be unique for every family, every individual. Like, what do you need to have as an acceptable standard of living? For a long time, I was fine with once a week. If we could just kind of reset the space once a week and have a clean house once a week, I was fine with that. Like, that was okay. Now we have enough big people and enough going on and enough projects and creativity happening. Like, it's not just me. We got lots of it happening. I would like picking up to happen more often. Okay. So, just kind of being aware. And then we also have certain spaces. Like, I have set up certain spaces in my home to be very easy to clean, because I want these spaces to be clean most of the time. Like, if these spaces are walkable and you can sit in them and there's not stuff everywhere, I feel great. Does I expect my entire house to be that way all the time? Absolutely not. But there's some spaces that by the end of the day, I want them completely reset and clean pretty much every night. So just think through what your tolerance level is, like how often do you want things done for your own sanity, and what are your kind of golden areas. In fact, I really recommend talking to, for the people that are in the home most of the time, your husband and you, and if your kids are old enough to care of them, and find out if you could pick one space in the house to be clean, what would it be? And really focus on making that a priority and setting yourself up for success there. Once you know what spaces are important, I want you to introduce this concept to your family, if you feel like it would help you, of resetting your space. So instead of saying we have to clean this up or pick up, the concept is reset. What will it take to have your house reset for the next activity? Because one of the things that happens when you are home all together all summer long, that maybe doesn't happen during the school year, particularly if your kids are at school or if they're busy at lots of camps and things like that, is that your house is lived in a lot harder. It is used a lot more. Like for us, most of the house is being used at like all the time. So we then need to introduce this idea of resetting your space so it's ready for the next activity. So instead of saying, I'm going to clean it up and it's going to stay clean, I'm going to reset this for the next activity. So we talk about this at the table. Okay, we're done eating. What do we need to reset this space so that the table is ready for the next project, the next meal, the next snack? Like what do we need to do here? And for rooms, how do we need to reset our rooms for the next project, activity, experience, game, rest, movie party, okay? And after it, how can we reset the space so we're ready for the next thing? It's just a shift, right? Instead of feeling like, oh, we've got to clean, it's just, how can we reset this? And what's really fun is I've watched my family over the years get used to this concept. The second we've reset a space, immediately that becomes the favorite room in the house. And creativity pops in like right away. It's kind of like, anyway, no reset space stays clean for long in my house. But that's okay, right? Like that's the joy of it, right? People want to be in clean spaces, and so they flock to there once it's done. Number 7 is to ask the kids what they want to do this summer. So you have maybe thought through already kind of this general rhythm for your day. And with that too, these anchors. Like for us, meal times are anchors. Everyone comes together and we're all going to be together for those meal times. And then another anchor is our quiet time after our lunch. But those are anchors. They are, no matter what happens, those things happen and we are together. So you've thought through that. You've thought through your priorities about what habits and skills and experiences you want the kids to have. You've maybe thought through now what cleaning needs to happen. And it's okay if it's not like super high. Like I said, once a week could be fine, especially if you guys are out having a ton of time together. Fun time together. I'm not saying the house has to be super clean. You just have to decide what's important to you. And then, but let's also loop now the kids in, right? Let's see what they want to do. What projects and skills and experiences do they want to have? What type of summer do they want? Do they want to spend the time just like hanging out and reading? Do they want to be with friends a bunch? Do they want to be out of the house and at parks and playgrounds? Like what's important to them? And so ask them and have this conversation with them as you guys work together on collaborating on what the vision is for the summer. I talk a lot about creating your vision. For the year, there's the Create Your Vision Challenge at thrivingmotherhoodpodcast.com/vision. And I highly recommend on this concept of creating a vision with your family for summer. So everybody kind of knows what you're working towards together. What do you want it to feel like? What do you want to do? And those priorities. And then Number 8 is get creative, okay? Don't feel like you have to do things at certain times because it seems like the time that everybody's doing it. Right now, like one of the things that we want to do with our kids this summer is I want to keep going with math for them, just so we don't have long gaps where we have to remember and relearn everything. And so the time that works best right now is the evening, like at bedtime. I've like put my my almost 3-year-old to bed, preschooler, put her to bed, and then I can do math and reading with my other kids because during the day, the weather's nice and we all want to be outside. We all want to be doing things together. We don't want to be sitting inside doing math. And it's really hard to sit and focus on math when there's so many cool things to do outside. So we're doing in the evening when it's quiet, we're inside anyway because somebody's sleeping. So just get creative and be flexible with your options. Like anything can go in the summer and it is so fun. Number 9 is plan on having a 2-week transition time at the end of school into summer. And during this time, this is an opportunity to just work on getting the rhythm down, the habits down. So you don't need to plan extra, play dates or super huge adventures or anything like that. But it's a time to just give your family a chance to learn what habits, when are people waking up? Like, what is the rhythm? What are the expectations? What do you have to do before breakfast or after meals? If your kids during the school year don't have opportunities to help with the laundry or the bathrooms or the cleaning, like, when are you guys going to do those? Can you teach them how to do it? Just like figure out the family rhythm together. Now, one of the best tips I've got, and this is for homeschooling, is at the end of the summer to get ready for the school year. What you do is you come up with your essential family rhythm, getting everybody ready for the day and breakfast on the table and cleaning up. And then once everyone's done those morning habits that you want to do, go do something fun as a reward together. And so maybe you want to approach it that way in the summer, getting your family ready on into the summer. What are those essential habits that they need to learn? And then build in that reward, that reinforcement loop, by going and doing something fun together, even if it's simple. Okay. But think of that, like, give yourself an opportunity